Alright, so we're going to get ready here for assignment 4. So I'm just going to do a save as. At this point, it's always good to give yourself some redundancy. Save as assignment 4. And then what we're going to talk about is kind of what's going on right down here. You can see a building that's rather floating one story above the street level. So we're going to try to connect it. The first thing we'll do is start to look at structure that goes up through the building, and then we'll look at getting this base kind of more fleshed out. Alright, so let's go to a 3D view. In fact, let's go to the second floor level and try to get the things that we can see. Occasionally, in between turning things on and off, you'll find that you've lost some information, and so it's always good to check under hide to see if there's anything that got hidden kind of unnaturally. Alright, so what we want to do is put a field of columns kind of in this realm. And I'm going to hide a few elements I think might be throwing things off. Alright, so under structure, you see columns. And you'll see a few, if I go to properties, that you really just have one column loaded. So to take care of that, let's just go to load family and go down to structural columns. And I think I'm just going to use concrete, but you can see that you have some other possibilities. And let's just look, I think we'll just go with these round columns here. And then it's going to ask you to plant these somewhere. You know, right now it seems like it's rather arbitrary, so let me just plant one, and then maybe we should look at applying a grid. Now this grid is not something that you would normally have in schematic design, perhaps, but it does help in the Revit world to kind of already have laid down kind of where these things might occur. And it'll help you organize your thoughts. And you can always turn them off if you don't need to really be seeing them on every drawing. So I'll describe how to turn them off on another project. Let's just put in. So we have kind of a column grid now, lightly based on the base of this screen. So we know that for me it's tapering and doing some weird things, so it's not always going to align this structure. But we'll make the best of it for right now. Okay, so we're going to have to move that one. Alright, so let's go to level 1, and we'll see that column's there. If you click on it and go to its properties, you can see that it was installed with level 1 and then level 2 being its top place. So let's just get it now centered, and you might go ahead and lock them if you've really got your grid in place. That way, if you move the grid, it moves with it. Sometimes it's great to lock things, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. So we'll lock these. So let's just go ahead and place a few more, although we want to be on level 2, I think, to do that. Alright. So we'll grab another column. This is probably a good time also to check to see if we're using the right column. This is a 12-inch column. Let's go ahead and go to something a little bit beefier, an 18-inch column. And we'll have to change that other one, but that's all right. We can do that. Okay, so we've laid out our columns. So it's just that easy. And we go to level 1. Okay. For some reason those aren't showing up. Alright, so for the structure, one thing you're going to need to do, when I started to put in the 18-inch, it gave me a kind of a different look, and they started to go away. So I'm turning the view range so that I can see further into the plan. You'll use this quite a bit if you want to start to see things below the level you're on, or not see them. So, and kind of the typical one would be that it's on the level that you're on, working on. So that's typical, and now I've lowered it. So I can select that, and we'll see that the base level is kind of strange. It should be 0. Oh, well, it can't do that. So I'm going to have to make the base level 1 and this 0, and then apply that. And then I'll just grab all of these guys and do the exact same thing. Apply that, and then now we should see that take effect on level 1. So now we can start seeing structure. Great. And it's moving with the grid. That's great too. The next thing we might want to do is tell it to be, go higher than that. So you might ask how to do that. If we change the properties to something kind of above, and we want to see it on those levels. So we have all these levels, but we actually look at the floor plans and we can't see those levels. So to get those, you just go under View and go under Plan Views, and under Floor Plans you can actually go and turn those on. So I'm just going to turn on, say, level 6 for now, and you'll see that over here it'll create a level 6, and there it is. So that's pretty easy. Alright, so we've begun to look at the column structure, but let's look at the beam structure. So let's go to our 3D view. We can take a look at what we've got going on. Probably want those columns to go all the way up to the roof. What you would do is under the east or any of the elevations, you basically just need to add one more level that you might call out as roof. So get that thing to slide up there, and then have these columns go all the way to the roof, and maybe minus whatever your structure is for your roof. So, all right. Well, in this case, I just moved level 13 apparently up to there. Okay, so so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some beams in that's going to come across the entire